Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new series where I'm going to be helping with Heroquest with beginners painting from the ground up. So before we start having a look at the box, we have 5 miniatures to paint in First Light. Through the rest of this series, I will be working through each of the characters and the dragon, then it will be up to you guys to decide which set we continue with after that. Leave your comments below as to which sets you want to see. I've already started on the Ogre Horde, but I do have some of the old retro Heroquest to go through as well. So the rules of engagement for today. We are going to be doing a one-coat paint job. This is absolutely aimed at beginners who just want to have their models painted on the board. Not everyone's trying to enter Golden Demon. Not everyone's a Space Marine player who wants to edge highlight all day with their notice me senpai attitudes. So once we've done a one-layer approach, we are then going to level it up with more shades and highlights. Hopefully so your model can look like mine. As one of the elements of this content, I will be sticking with one paint set and minimal tools. I'm going to be rocking 2 thin coats, their primary releases, using their main core sets. At this point in time, they have done 3 waves of releases and a fantastic triad system, which I will come back to in just a moment. Again, I really do want to stress I am not an award-winning painter. I've never even entered a painting competition past the age of 15, but my goal here is to make sure everybody feels capable that they can at least do the very basics of mini painting on a set like this. Many people buy this set and they just enjoy it for the game it is. It's not all about mini painting. Personally, I picked up First Light because I have to have the complete set of everything, but this became my travel set of HeroQuest. A couple of weekends ago, I was in Cardiff watching Mystery Wrestling with some of the friends from the Discord server, and this is like a 12-inch box. It fits really nicely in a roll-on travel case, and it is a almost perfect game of HeroQuest. To start, you're going to need some basic hobby files, and you're going to be looking over your mini for a thing called mold lines. These are where the 2 sides of the mold meet, and they can leave just a little layer of plastic. If you don't have a file, sometimes you can use an emery board just as well, and most households may have those. Gently work down the lines, and then prime your miniature. Normally people use an airbrush or rattle cans, but if you don't, just use your normal black paint from your hobby toolbox. As a beginner, there is tons of hobby aids I would recommend, but I'm keeping this deliberately low budget. I want this to be available for everyone. Here are 2 painting handles. You can make your own with a tablet bottle or spice bottle, but I highly recommend getting the basic Games Workshop one, or if you're committing long term, I got one of these natural hardwoods from Jimmy the Brush. Link below. Like many brands, 2 thin coats works on a triad system. That means there is a base coat, a first highlight, and a top highlight. So when I refer to that, please remember that the colours are just getting brighter as we go through the trilogy. So it's time to prepare your model for the first stage of the painting, and I'm starting off with Scorched Earth. We are going to apply this to the entire model in a dry brush. Dry brush is a fancy word for take half the paint off the brush on a paper towel, and then tickle your entire model with it. This will show you where your highlights are and provide a nice little tone for the things like the shadows and the creases. It also helps you establish your highlighting tones going further into the project. We are going to do this 3 times working through the triad. While you can buy a dedicated dry brush, I tend to use an old hobby brush as it does the job just fine. Certainly as a beginner, you do not want to be over-investing in tools, and this is why I don't recommend Warhammer for beginners. Starting off with some pre-assembled, nice easy to start miniatures, a small number is a lot less overwhelming. Once that is all done and dusted, we are going to be moving on to the aptly named Barbarian Brawn. I like to think this was named after the Barbarian of Heroquest. Make sure you water down your paint just a little bit to help it flow, and we're going to paint all of the muscularity of the Barbarian. Do not forget to do the knees. That was something I forgot the very first time I painted one of these. And of course, we're going to be covering the upper chest, the hands, and the face. I'm going to give you some forbidden advice that nobody else will tell you. If you're happy with your model how it is, even if it's not finished, it's finished. But if you want to go further, stick with me. We're going to use Curiass leather to put some nice red into the fabrics. We are going to be following some of the original card art as much as possible. The sculpt is slightly different, but we're going to be going for a 2-tone loincloth. The booties and the majority of the loincloth will suit this red leathery colour fantastically, so we're going to start there. This is also a great time to use some of your black paint to re-establish the hair. Remember, the black that you paint on is not the same as primer, so even if it looks black, it is worth topping it up. And going back to the pants, we're going to use some Sentient Turquise to start off with our blue shades, and eventually, if you do stick with me long enough, we are going to increase that to the ray gun blue. Currently, we're just doing 1 layer throughout, as I said, nice and easy for beginners. And for those who don't even want to mini paint, they just have to play their games. But later on, we are going to be using a process called highlighting, where we systematically go lighter and lighter over a smaller surface area to give the fabrics, the skin, and everything else some depth. Don't forget to check the card included in the pack as a reference, because if you want to do it accurately, you don't have to, you can do it your own way. You do need to do the sword hilt, and there's a little bit either side of the belt kind of crest and the buckle. If you want to freestyle this, changing any one of the fabric colours, you can do. This guide will still work based on the Triad system. So you'll have your base coat, your highlight, and your top highlight for whatever colour of the rainbow you need. Those earlier dry brush browns are great for adding Skeleton Legion to, as we can now create the furs. For fur and other fine areas like the hair, I do recommend using the side of the brush for the beginners. That means you can drag this over, covering all of the top layer only, keeping the shadows where they need to be. However, with my big fat meaty hands and the sword positioning, it was easier for me to use the tip. For those with a keen eye, you'll realise that the furs start just above the belt line. Not only does he have the boots with the furs, he's also got matching cuffs, so do make sure you spend a little time doing those. Again, if you want to freestyle this, you could have wildly different colours on each fur. At this point during painting, it is completely normal to start looking down on yourself, going, I've made a mistake here, I'm not good enough in this area. Perfectly fine. Just remember, most of these miniatures are going to be seen from about 3 to 6 feet away. Your small mistakes are only going to be noticed by you. And you have plenty of time to correct them if you just keep painting. Okay, I admit I've done a little naughty thing here in this video. This is a Reaper Miniatures paint, and it's a non-metallic gold. This is not in the core set I was telling you to use. You do have options for a true gold, as well as a true silver. I've been painting now on and off for about 20 years, and I really like the look of comic books in my art. My style is very bright, colourful, with strong shadows. For this reason, the true metallic colours you get, the pigments of glitter, means they react to a light in a way I can't control, and therefore lose my comic effect. So anytime you see me working on the sword or any metal elements, you can use the metallic colours. But if you're feeling like you want to test yourself, you can try it this way. There is a full colour conversion chart in the description below. Do whatever you can with the paints you have. This will look perfectly good with a traditional silver and a traditional gold. It is at this point, I would say, a beginner should be very proud of their work and should consider it done. So take a moment to top up any mistakes you've made and polish off this miniature. Remember to give the base a coat of black. For those who want to stick with me, we're going to take this miniature just a little bit further. But first, grab a pen and paper and write down a list of all your favourite swear words, as it is time to paint the eyes. To do this, you need a very strong tipped brush, and you're going to start from the inside of the eye, sweeping to the outside of the eye in a horizontal motion. It may take you a few attempts. Even I had to do a couple of extra takes for this recording. Remember, all these hobby influencers have got time to make edits and to only show the best of their work. It's perfectly normal for it to be a bit rough during the middle stages. In fact, the most seasoned hobbyists will tell you about the ugly phase and how just to believe in the process. Speaking of believing in the process, we're now going to do a smaller horizontal line with the white, and this is going to create a shaded eye socket and a focused eye. If you do make a mistake, wet your brush and wipe away the paint you just applied, let it dry, and go again. If you get it mostly right, you may be able to touch it up with a small dab of black or a small dab of white. You don't have to be too clean here, but our next stage is to do a vertical line of black. This is going to be the pupil, this is going to be showing his main focus of direction. It is important you get this mostly lined up, or else you will have a very confused looking barbarian. To the absolute beginners watching this, it may seem cruel that I've gone from applying one basic coat of paint to doing the eyes straight away. This isn't a massive skill jump, this is a level of processing that will help you later on. Reshape the eye, tidying up any mistakes using your Barbarian Brawn. Yeah, it's not perfect, but honestly nobody really gets eyes perfect anyway, so we'll fix it up later. For anyone struggling, you can use a smaller brush. I strongly believe that as long as you've got a strong tip, you never need any other brush than a size 1. A size 1 will do everything from your base layers all the way through to your eyes. It may take a little bit more wisdom, but you can always try a size 0 or a 0.5. But, you know, I like my brushes, they got my name on it. So, just gotta show this up. I think they're pretty cool. I will recommend a size 1 simply because they hold more moisture and will stop your paint drying too quickly, making your job harder. I apologise I didn't do a great job of capturing this in frame, but I'm working in a very tiny area with this zoomed in camera. But what I'm doing here is I'm using the same Curiass leather we used earlier on the pants and the boots. I'm watering it down about 50% and I'm brushing it over the scar. Using a wet brush with no paint on it, I'm removing the top layer and I'm just going back and forward enough so that you can see the red in the scarring. Once that's fully dry, we're going to level up our muscularity by adding in some Dwarven skin. We are going to select the top 2/3 of the muscle mass. This is in terms of depth, not height of the model. So what we're doing is we're going to pick out all of the pectoral regions, the deltoids, the huge boulder shoulders, all the way down to the forearm, the fingers, and the thighs. We are leaving only the original Barbarian Brawn in the recesses to pump up that muscularity look. It is amazing how much just a highlight can change a model from the very beginner grade to a, oh, that stands out look. Remember, on the face, you're going to do some strong highlights. You're going to give it the chin of a Blackpool drag queen because you really want it to stand out. Plus, we're going to be doing an effect next that is going to turn that down a little. The reason we did the eyes so early is so that we can tidy them up as we highlight. We don't need to ruin all the highlights we already did. We don't need to apply 3 coats of paint to fix the mistake. We can fix it as we go in a natural order of painting, which ties it very nicely to this stage. We're going to take a little pinch of the blue from earlier, a little bit of the black, and we're going to water it down about 70%. You should be able to see your palette through the paint if you've watered it down enough. The most important part is to do one little dab on your paper so you don't have a great big lump of watery paint, and you're going to very finely paint it over the jawline and the cheeks. We are creating the 5 o'clock shadow, which all manly men should have, and drag queens from Blackpool, and a large proportion of Stoke women, but I digress. This part does take a little personal favour, so add more water or more paint to get the consistency just right for what you want. We will be highlighting over this after, so don't worry if it's just a little too dark. For me, I consider this just right, and it will take the next highlight very well. For that highlight, we're going back to Dwarven skin and just picking out the jawline over the 5 o'clock shadow, very careful not to remove its shading. This is also the time where you could finally fix any issues with the eyes or the brow. Little side note, this model was based on the Techno Viking, including his 2-tone trunks. So we're going to highlight said trunks with some boar hide over all our reddish brown areas, importantly leaving the Curiass leather in the recesses, and not forgetting his little booties. Making sure we highlight equally on the blue side, we're going to move up to Cursed Blue. Again, we're going to leave the Sentient Turquise in the recess, and we're going to build up with the Cursed Blue. That includes the cuffs and the little detailing at either side of the belt buckle. And we're going to finish off the blue with some of that ray gun blue. And we're just going to do the utmost edges that really catch the light. This is going to give our Barbarian a much needed pop of colour. We're also going to use some fur cloak to make sure that we match the red fabrics with the blue fabrics, reaching the apex of their triad. This is their brightest colour on only the most highlighted edges. That's the brightest part, so going back to the darkest part in the hair, we're going to add a little bit of white to our black, just to give it a natural highlighted grey, and we're just going to stroke over each of the hair fragments, just like this. On the side of the face, there is a hair braid, so I add a little bit more white into the mix to make sure it stands out. I'm going back to the gold and using a brighter shade to pick out all the detailing. If you are using traditional metallics, as I said before, you can do the same thing just by using a lighter shade of gold or mixing in a little bit of silver. The technique is the same, the colours may be slightly different. But again, if you are feeling bold enough to try non-metallic metals, do not be afraid of giving it a go. It is essentially just highlighting as you did on the pants. And when I'm using this absolute miracle paint coal black, you use a gunmetal and highlight up with silver. Unless, again, you want to try this, and all you do is mix in a yellowy brown colour to create the highlight. Many of these influencers put people off trying non-metallic metals. They want to sound like they're elite, they want to sound like they've got the ultimate guide to doing it and lock it behind their Patreon. It's a perfectly easy technique to do. Mastering it is difficult, but doing a very basic version of it is easy, and I don't think people should be put off it. That said, there are a million ways you can work in metallic paints. I'm sure there's plenty of guides all over the internet in leveling it up. Again, if this was true metallics, you would be using a very bright silver to do the edging, but here I'm using a white. This series was created because I stream 5 days a week on Twitch, and my viewers were asking me for more guides of how I paint. So if you want to learn how I paint, do drop me a sub and maybe check me out on Twitch. This is the way I'm going to be showing things going forward. As we reach the end stages, we're going to revisit the boots with the furs with the Skeleton Legion, just with a little bit of white mixed in. We're going to do this to create an extra highlight, making each and every fur pop. As always, I recommend you take a moment to check every little bit of detail, make sure you touch up your paints in the right place, make sure there's no primer showing, and make sure you retop up the base in black. Hopefully, if you followed this guide, your Barbarian looks as good as mine. It honestly took no time at all. I painted this in just over 2 hours. I really do hope I inspire you to have the same confidence as a Barbarian with 3 rolled skulls. Thank you to each and every one of you for spending this time with me. Do check me out on Twitch 5 days a week, and if you want more Heroquest, make sure you subscribe. Thank you to all my Patreons. You're the reason that this content keeps happening.